Oh, we live. We are. Welcome, guys, to the Miami Grand Prix Sprint watch along. Couple of minutes late. Well, it's always going to be about 10 to be fair. 9 minutes to go until lights out. Some news ahead of the start. Nico Hulkenberg won't be making the start. His engine basically just went on the way to the grid. So sad times for Audi and Nico Hulkenberg. Alex Albon will also start P19. I think that's P18 now in the end, purely because his time, they reviewed it after or during qualifying, but his time was deleted for track limits. It was investigated during qualifying, but it was cleared that he was fine because Liam Lawson was on standby to take his position should he have been kicked out. But it looked like, well, strange actually, because Liam Lawson's there, effectively the one that's been robbed of position because the stewards didn't do their job properly, clearly during qualifying. But after qualifying, he was his lap was deleted for track limits, and he'll start P19, which is a bit of a shame for Liam Lawson because he didn't quite get the opportunity then to get himself further up the grid. He is starting 15th now, but let's see how that one works for him in the end. But yeah, we're not far off now. Sad news in the F1 world. Alex Zanardi, former F1 driver, absolute megastar when it comes to mentality monster, is Alex Zanardi. Had not a fantastic career in Formula One, but he's then had a huge incident where he lost both of his legs. And then to go on from where that scenario to go on and win other world championships, marathons, he just didn't let anything phase him. A real credit to society, to humankind. It is, yeah, sad. He's lost his life, passed away apparently late last night. So yeah, pay respects. I think they did a minute's silence for Alex Zanardi just before the start. But moving on, as life does, into the race, it's, well, going to be an interesting one. We've got the first time a Mercedes been beaten to pole position, and it's McLaren. For all the world, it looked like would be Ferrari. These boys right here, this badge, I thought they would be top dog, but they clearly not. At the moment, they just didn't quite have enough, did they, when it mattered, which is a real shame, to be honest with you. So I thought they would do it. It looked like for all the world that they would be the team to beat Ferrari, but Charles Leclerc, he was the faster of the two Ferraris, who just didn't quite get enough to make the win. We're not long to go. We've got a McLaren sandwich. Oh, Antonelli in the McLaren sandwich, isn't he? So it's Lando Norris in first. Kimi Antonelli will be hoping he can, or he's trying to get the best of his bad starts. He'll be hoping he can at least stay second place in this race, and we'll be hoping Mercedes still have the race pace, which we've not seen all season. It's a big one for Kimi Antonelli on that side, but he's done the job over his teammate. He's 4 places up ahead of him. If he can finish in second, I suppose he'd say damage limitation. And then we'll also see how that works for him in the long race. I mean, he's got a lot to learn. We've got the main qualifying coming later on, so stay around for the watch along on that. And then we'll also have the race tomorrow. But yeah, it's surprising. Is it surprising? I'm not sure, to be honest with you, because we've suddenly just got a McLaren on pole. They did look strong in Japan, but they didn't look 1-3 strong, to be honest, that they would be here in Miami. Ferrari, I think, would be the most disappointed with where they're starting 4th and 7th. They look like the team that would be right up at the front and the ones to pounce over Mercedes. But we've shown and been seeing time and time again that actually that's just not the case, is it? They don't tend to make the most of the opportunities when they arrive. Ferrari, they just don't seem to have they're not the team for in-season development. That is the big one. Um, I don't know why they're just bad when it comes to in-season development. They never got the car right in the last few years. Start really, really strongly, and then they're pretty much downhill from there. But it's just a 19 lap sprint in Miami. I'm sure we'll get more safety car or some safety cars in this race. We've already had Nick Hulkenberg out. He's not even made it to the start. So that's like Ferrari settings, isn't it, at the moment? Charles Leclerc had that drama already. Oscar Piastri, what will he be thinking? His teammate is on pole position, and he'll probably just be happy actually that the car is fighting at the front again. Lando Norris was really happy. He said, this car is night and day different to what we had pre the break. So, who knows? He'll be hoping that he just gets the same start like he did in Japan. And could we see him go from third to first into that first corner if Norris doesn't get a start? That'll be the big one. Let's hope Ferrari still retain their start advantage. That was big. It was a big difference in a lot of the racing in the first three Grand Prix, because without Ferrari making that massive leap, we didn't quite. Well, I don't think we would have had the racing that we've seen in the end. If you're syncing up, they're just going through the drivers with the Watchalong. Nico Hulkenberg now on screen, up to Esteban Ocon and Ollie Berman. Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Red Lindblad, Liam Lawson, Carlos Sainz. I've got to say that Racing Bulls look brilliant. Alex Albon, Lewis Hamilton will be Charles Leclerc. We do it in championship order, don't they, where they finished? Isaac Hadjar, Max Verstappen, Kimi Antonelli, George Russell, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris. That's it. And we're going to have Crofty now waffling on, but we'll get to still do one as they go for the formation lap so you can sync up with what I'm chatting about and where we are. But round 4, could say already, but it doesn't feel already at all, does it? Finally, we got some racing back. How big a difference will it make to the racing, the regulation changes? I think we'll get a taster of it here. 19 laps flat out. The tires won't be a problem here, so we should just see them go at it, and hopefully they can still follow. Like, that was the big thing, which was really good for the first 3 races. They were able to follow in the twisty stuff, and now was that one car lifting and coasting more than the other? Was it battery recharging? All these questions we still won't know. Will we see more or less of that? Will that mean we don't quite see the following that we could see through the twisty corners before? And we have again that same problem where the cars can't follow, and it was kind of masked with the whole battery performance stuff. And that'll be the big one. That'll be something that probably develops. Well, as we go through the season. It's new for everyone. We can't really judge exactly what's going to happen where, but it'll be an interesting one in the end. Arvid Lindblad is in 22nd place on mine. What's happened to him? Let's see what has happened to Arvid. What has happened to Arvid Lindblad? I'm sure we'll find out in a moment. It definitely wasn't last. Everybody on the mediums bar Perez on the hards with Bottas. And then we've got the two Aston Martins on the softs again. I guess, is that a tactive more like? So we are getting the calls. So we've got the start of the formation lap. Making their way around to the grid. Oh, this is the tense bit, isn't it? Before the Grand Prix starts. Let's hope we do get the good starts that we've sort of seen all season, isn't it? Makes a huge difference, that. They've all said the battery shouldn't be an issue here. It's not as bad as what we've seen elsewhere. Coming round, I think, finally to another knot. Aston Martins are still weaving their way around the circuit. They are. We are now getting the cars, last of the cars, lining up at the back. No, we're not. We've still got a few cars to go yet, but we're going to have. I wonder if we see someone's got the slow car, slow start thing that we've seen all this time. Antonelli needs a big start. So, yes, the last of the cars is lining up. Obviously, Arlen Lemblatt doesn't like he's taken to the grid. So, I don't know what's happened with him. Same with Nico Hulkenberg. And we are about to get going. First light, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go! Antonelli, another bad start from him. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is he going to hold on to his teammate? His battle with George Russell around with Antonelli, hold on there. Wheel to wheel with, is that Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton? Nice little scrap between the pair of them. That was absolutely insane. I think Antonelli just about held off George Russell there with keeping it, muscling him out. But another poor start from Kimi Antonelli. He's found himself way down. Where is he? He's fourth. Charles Leclerc, the two McLarens were off with a really quick start, weren't they? And then we've got the two Alpines. We've seen one of the Hulkenberg. Where is he? Way down. What's happened to Nico Hulkenberg? Oh, he didn't start, did he? That was dumb. I'm even talking about. I just seen his name tumble all the way down to the bottom of the grid, but it's obviously because he's not taken to the start because of the engine problem that he had. Well, let's see how this one pans out. It's close up at the top. Overtake is started, so let's see how that one works out through the rest of the rise. Alex Albon up to Bottas. So we've got two Aston Martins. Bottas. Perez has got a good start. Got himself up 2 places into P15. Go on, Perez. Bad start from Hadjar. Oh, that was close on Charles Leclerc and Antonelli, wasn't it? On board with Antonelli. I think Antonelli's on a charge, isn't he? He was flying in Japan, actually. He was so fast. But the losers on the start, Max Verstappen down 2 places, P7 to Lewis Hamilton. Antonelli trying to move on Charles Leclerc. Oh, he runs really wide. He's got to be defensive of his teammate now, but luckily it's in the tight, twisty session where it's just one. It's just a train through there. Charles Leclerc complaining about Kimi. He's so bad on wheel to wheel. He moved under braking. It's unbelievable. We're going to crash. He's lost a bit of space there, though, so he can breathe a little bit. Charles Leclerc's DRS on him. Rear wing looked weird the way it flapped around, to be honest. I don't know if it's because it's the Macarena wing and it looks a bit strange. Carlos Sainz moving up. Nice move, Carlos. Lawson dropped 2 places down to Perez as well. Lindblad out. He obviously didn't take to the car. Retired. That's another car issue. Getting a few of them this season. A few issues this season. So from the start, we got Kimi Antonelli dropped 2 places again, passed by Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc. Good start from Lando Norris. The McLaren showing the Mercedes how it's done off the start line, isn't it? It's not pure engine. It's probably mapping and a lot of other things that why they seem to have the issues that they do. I mean, George Russell, he made up a place. So, I mean, that's down to Max Verstappen having a bad start. He's been poor off the starts, hasn't he? So, I mean, Verstappen or Red Bull seeming to have the same issues that they had early doors. And are they kind of like Antonelli and Mercedes and the way that they've designed some parts of that car that they have that same issue? Who knows? But both Antonelli and Verstappen both lost 2 places on the start. Franco Colapinto down 1 position. He's behind his teammate now, 8th and 9th for them too. Isaac Hadjar made up a place. Ollie Berman, bad start, 2 down 2. Ocon with a great start, up 3 places to P13. Alex Albon, we're looking at 2 places because Lindblad and Hulkenberg dropped. Lawson down 2 places. He's not had the best start at all, has he? He's down to P17, Liam. It's not looking good for him. We've got Stroll and Alonso. Well, Lance Stroll is ahead of Fernando Alonso. Let's see how long that one lasts for. So at the moment, Oscar is not. He's dropped to less than a second. He's 1.3 behind Lando Norris. You'd think, or you'd hope he'd be all over the back of him, but not quite at the moment. 1.4 behind Lando Norris. Norris is getting a charge. Nobody was, behind Charles Leclerc seems a roadblock, isn't he? We've got Antonelli 0.7, Russell 0.8 behind Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton 0.6 behind Russell, and then we've got Verstappen within that second zone of Lewis Hamilton. So all of them getting the DRS and the overtake button move around the circuit. We've got then a gap then from Max Verstappen to Pierre Gasly, 3.3. So it's then Gasly is the next roadblock from there. But a bit of a gap to Franco Colapinto, who's got Isaac Hadjar over the back of him. Antonelli. They've not shown the back of that. I'd like to see if Antonelli's car shown that sort of, I don't know, whatever signal it was going to show that it's going to have a bad start. I was kind of hoping that wasn't to be for him, but well, Antonelli did well to keep ahead of George Russell, to be fair. When you really look at that start, George Russell was miles ahead of him, and then he's just seemed to have left the racing line open for him, and Antonelli's just sort of said, yeah, I'll have some of that space, and absolutely insane. We've got Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, or Lewis keeping it tight. Oh, we've got a touch there with Max Verstappen and a Alpine as well. Max Verstappen managed to stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton, but we've seen a pass. Well, clearly Hamilton is ahead of Verstappen. Yeah, so Hamilton passed Verstappen into turn one, but obviously Max is never going to disappear from there. He keeps his nose in it. It was good. Rubbing is racing, they've said. But Lewis passed him, but we're not sure where Lewis passed Max Verstappen, but he has. Track limits, and are we just getting DRS trains now? Russell is half a second back on Kimi Antonelli. Antonelli dropping back off the back of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc is Posca's 2 seconds behind Lando Norris now. Norris is sort of just saying, I'm going to make... Is he saving tyres? Who knows? Or is it just one of them where Norris is just hooked up and he's going to disappear? Six laps done. Two strikes for Antonelli on track limits as well, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Verstappen, I can't really brake. The rear axle is jumping up and down. That's an issue that they had last year as well, didn't they? We heard Max saying that an awful lot of the time last year, but it seems to have carried over into this year's car, which is strange because they're completely different regulations, and you'd think the way they've designed it, you didn't expect that same issue. Are we getting any movement anywhere? Any overtakes anywhere? But it's pretty much status quo after the start. It's close. Lewis Hamilton is all over the back of George Russell. But I think Ferrari seems like it's got the pace, or it's got the pace to beat that Mercedes, but is it because obviously Russell's also getting the overtake benefit of his teammates? Yeah, there we are. The two McLarens up top. Could we get a McLaren 1-2 in Miami? And that would be... Is it a surprise? Are you surprised? Let me know your thoughts in the comment on that one, because, well, doing a great job. First and second, I genuinely didn't see that one coming at the start. Oh, that was sideways from Kimi Antonelli through that chicane thing when they just flicked to him in lap 7, but he's held on. He's still ahead of George Russell, and we've got the Macarena wing on that Ferrari, but we've not seen it really take advantage. But the Red Bull one looks absolutely magnificent the way that they've done that. Oh, yeah, George Russell having a late move on Kimi Antonelli. Does. Yeah, that's, and Antonelli is coming back at him. He might be turn one. Russell defending hard of Kimi Antonelli, but he's managed to hold on to that one. And yeah, George has done it, but Antonelli seems all over the back of him. It's like, can you break that? You made the overtake, but you need to break that little bit. I mean, it's not done until like 4 or 5 corners later. Max Verstappen getting back in it. He's half a second behind Lewis Hamilton. He was dropped back a little bit, but he's now right there. And his Macarena wing is better than the Ferrari Macarena wing. Look at that. It's huge. Just Verstappen dives. He just ran them both wide. He'll have to give that. Both go off track. He forced him off. I think they both went off. I think Max might have to give that back to Lewis just because he didn't keep on track, did he? Dive bomb from Max Verstappen on Lewis Hamilton. Great to see them two back racing hard. Look at the size of that hole in the rear wing of that. Lewis Hamilton looked like he could have made the move there. Oh, they're playing. They're both playing the overtake game, aren't they? For the overtake move. Tactical move from Max Verstappen to try and just not give him the space, but they both lost time there doing that, messing about to the Mercedes, because Lewis was just didn't want to take the place back before the overtake line. He wanted to have that place back after the overtake line. Fun and games. We've seen that with the DRS line before, so there's nothing new to moan about on that one. That's just what we've seen in Formula One for years there. So absolutely makes the most of that. But now look, Lewis Hamilton 2.5 seconds behind George Russell. That's not what they both wanted. They've just let the Mercedes go. Lewis Hamilton was all over the back of him, but Antonelli's passed George Russell. Somewhere. We've not seen that because we've just got carried away with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. The rivalry back, wheel-to-wheel action with the pair of them. But Antonelli has passed George Russell, and he's now gapped him by a second. Interesting. That's a strange one there. What has happened? Charles Leclerc is still just out the 1 second of Oscar Piastri. Oh, the Max Verstappen made in lap 10, makes a move this time properly at turn 17. Lewis Hamilton does get the overtake. Well, is that tactical again? But that rear wing from the Red Bull is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it's worked. What a job. That Red Bull, it's massive when they open that rear wing. I think Ferrari's had this Macarena wing plan, but Red Bull have mastered it. Roller and McCree's actually saying that they had this way before. It's not something that they've just gone and copied Ferrari. It's just that they were trying to perfect it. And, well, Ferrari introduced it, leaked the idea almost. And is that just to get in there first sort of scenario? But Red Bull have shown them how to do it, haven't they? What a move, Max Verstappen. And he's now moving away. That'd be disappointing from Ferrari, isn't it? They're now battling with Max Verstappen, and it didn't look like that would be it. 10 laps done, 9 to go, past half race distance. Lando Norris is comfortably up at the top, 2.8 seconds now ahead of Oscar Piastri. The only hope he got here is that Oscar is watching his tyres and will get him to attack Lando Norris towards the end of this race. But I mean, with that gap, Lando Norris can take it easy, but he's not. He's pumping in fastest lap of the race at the moment. Lando Norris, he did a 31.8 that time, 4 tenths faster than Piastri. Charles Leclerc not quite getting into the DRS or the overtake position on Oscar Piastri. He's just out of that 1.3, 1.4 seconds. And is that again him managing because he's got a comfortable gap now, 3.5 seconds. Oh, that was a huge piece. That's contact somewhere. We've got body parts all over the car. We've got 2 McLarens, Charles Leclerc, then the 2 Mercedes, and then Max Verstappen. He's now 3.6 behind George Russell, so they've lost another second battling, haven't they, to the Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton, 0.8, still within that second of Max Verstappen. Kind of needs to stay there, doesn't he, for this overtake bolt and then to keep that battle going. But the gaps seem big here this weekend. Lap 10, and we've not quite got the amount of overtakes that we've seen in other Grand Prix, especially what we've seen in China. Some real good overtaking, strange overtaking maneuvers in weird corners. The racing's been more steady. I don't think it's been a cracker by any means, has it? I mean, we've got that good battle there with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, but that's about as exciting as it's got all race. I mean, obviously, we got the one move with Russell and Antonelli so far, but black and white flag for Antonelli, track limit, so we'll get a 5-second penalty for one more. That would keep Max Verstappen honest, because at the moment, that is, well, if he does get that 5-second penalty, he loses a place to Russell, and he could lose a place to Max Verstappen. That would seem go from 4th to 6th. That's not he wants to be, does he? We've got the 2 Williams side by side. Will they be happier? They are 14th and 15th in the fight. They are a second behind the 2 Haas. So we've got 2 McLarens followed by Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, 2 Mercedes, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. Then we've got 2 Alpine, Isaac Hadjar, the single Audi of Gabi Bortoletto. He's done a solid job, him. Then the 2 Haas, Behrman and Ocon. Then the 2 Williams, Sainz leads, Albon, Liam Lawson 16th. Then we've got the Perez 17th. He's done a pretty solid job, give it to him. And then the 2 Aston Martins, and then last place we've got Valtteri Bottas, 5.5 seconds back of Aston Martin. Is he carrying some sort of issue? He's doing a second lap slower than the Aston Martins. Actually, so was Perez's last lap, was a 37.3. So are both Cadillacs experiencing some sort of issues at this stage in the race? I mean, they've gone for the hard, so clearly worried about the deg on their car. Is it heavy on tires? But even that, is it on the hards? Which is interesting. I mean, we've got the 2 Aston Martins on softs, and they're still running, obviously, and one of them or both beating one of the Cadillacs. So that's interesting how that's playing out for them. I mean, that's just even worse, isn't it? You're slow and you're really hard on your tires, and you're not quick in any format, are you? Not quick in qualifying, and actually they're beating Aston Martin only because Aston Martin are beating themselves at the moment, which is saying something as we stand. But up at the top, it's Lando Norris running away with it, 3 seconds ahead now of Oscar Piastri. Ferrari are not quite there, are they? Charles Leclerc now looks like he's within a second of we've got someone for car parts. So Charles Leclerc, yeah, within a second now of Oscar Piastri. This is within a second, lap 14. Could we see some action finally? Charles Leclerc on He's just sort of dropped the time, hasn't he? He's now 1.2. Lots of swings. The way that new power units have gone. Are you happy with this, purists? It doesn't seem like we've leveled out a little bit, haven't we? We're not quite getting the overtakes or the tight racing. Is it harder to follow? It'd be really interesting to see what the drivers say after this one. I mean, a lot of them call it anti-racing, but is this what you guys wanted to watch? Let me know your thoughts on that one. But yeah, really interesting because at the moment we've had two parts of racing, I've got to say. Antonelli with George Russell, and Antonelli seems to have done the job and held his teammate off. We missed the pass of Antonelli again on Russell. I've got to say the race direction has been crap. We've missed so many overtakes at starts. I mean, I can understand on that one because it was a great battle between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton going on. Max Verstappen passing Lewis Hamilton, and he's got a comfortable gap now, 2.5 seconds to Lewis. Are they hard on their tyres? It's a bit disappointing, this from Ferrari. Come with the most upgrades of anybody, and well, Lewis Hamilton is struggling a little bit. Charles Leclerc can't get within that second of the McLaren, and they don't have the start advantage on the McLarens, at least anyway. I mean, we kind of seen that in Japan because Oscar Piastri got away with a mega start at the start of Japan. And so, yeah, we'll see how that one works out or that plays out. But yeah, we've definitely lost some of the shenanigans that we've seen with battery movement, all that sort of stuff. But Lando Norris, as it stands, is 4 laps away from a pretty comfortable sprint race win for him. He's not had to worry about his teammate. He's had him in his pocket pretty comfortably. We've now got Isaac Hadjar now all over the back of an Alpine. He'll be hoping he can pass at least one of them, isn't it? I mean, I don't think he's got enough time to close on Pierre Gasly because the gap between Gasly and Colapinto is 4 seconds. Charles Leclerc is closer. 0.5 second. Oh, this is what we needed. 4 laps to go. And now Charles Leclerc is all over the back. 0.3 behind Oscar Piastri. That's what we want. Come on, Charles. Make a race of this. Give us some excitement at the end of the race. The gap opens up again, doesn't it? Oh, we've got a bit of a big correction there in the middle of that corner. Are we seeing the dirt? Yeah, unstable in the car and we're not being able to follow. This is the battle now, isn't it? Ferrari Macarena wing doesn't. I mean, you might as well just put that away now. It's a little bit embarrassing when you see what Red Bull have done. As great as an idea it was, and it was like, oh, look at this massive hole. Geez, Red Bull you could put a bus through it, like someone said to Makis. Not quite getting the full. We're getting back to just sort of steady eddies again, aren't we? And the gaps everywhere. 0.5 second, but then we've got big gaps. So we're getting clear differences now of where cars are. I mean, Norris has got Piastri covered, but then behind Charles Leclerc did close up. He's now 1.2 behind. So who can say what on this one? They're swinging roundabouts. Mercedes, Antonelli, nearly 4 seconds back on the Ferrari. That's interesting, and they'll be like scratching the head on that one. Russell, 3 seconds back on his teammate. Max Verstappen, 2 seconds back on the Mercedes. They lost their time between basically Verstappen and Hamilton, both battling between each other. So that's really cost them potentially a chance at 5th place. Max and Lewis, or really for Max, isn't he, with that battle with Lewis? Lewis dropped back. He's now 4 seconds behind Oh, that was a that was a weird. Is that an opportunist mood, or is that one pressing a boost and one harvesting? That looked crazy. The closing speeds on that one, and we were complaining about it in Japan, but it was effective there. That was a strange. That was a strange move from Hadjar on. But Alpine is closing up again on Franco Colapinto. He's run wide. It's gone deep as a Hadjar, and it's yeah. Has he done enough? It looks like he's now got it in the bank, hasn't he? Isaac Hadjar moves up into ninth, but he's not going to get into the P8 final point position, is he? In the end, that looks like Pierre Gasly, who has been absolutely brilliant so far this season. He's been absolutely on it. He's done what he needed to do, and you can't argue with that one. He's been really, really solid, Pierre Gasly. That car, not quite got enough in it to beat the Mercedes or the Ferraris or the McLarens. Hadn't for most of this weekend, but he was beating Max Verstappen. But that Red Bull, obviously they've bought upgrades, and Max Verstappen clearly likes them. He's either worked really hard, and he will have Max Verstappen to figure out. As much as we talk about him going off doing GT racing and all that sort of stuff, Max Verstappen would have worked really, really hard to understand these cars and how to make the most of it. Oh Charles Leclerc, big, deep. He's trying to push it. That was him. That's him. That's that done, I think, for Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. That was done, yeah. It's 2 seconds back now. So ran wide, lap 18, and I think that's the race done. Lando Norris, barring any technical issues, should win this race from here, followed by his teammate, a McLaren 1-2. Papaya bouncing back. Papaya on top, as Lando Norris said last time out. But they've done it. He's done it. Piastri is second, and he's pretty comfortable. He'll be. It's a bit of a shame that he wasn't closer to Lando Norris through much of this race. It's been Norris pretty comfortable, hasn't he? And then we've had Piastri second. Charles Leclerc tried a little bit, but not quite got enough in that Ferrari on the McLarens at the moment. So they've got some work to do to try and catch up. The McLarens have Ferrari. And then comes the Mercedes, fourth and fifth. They didn't have any pace to be. I mean, they're 3 seconds back on the Ferrari. Max Verstappen would have. Look at Max Verstappen. He's been the second of George Russell. He's caught up rapidly as Max Verstappen. He caught up about 2 and a bit seconds in the 4 laps that these had since passing Lewis Hamilton. That'll be a bit worrying for Mercedes. They've gone away and they've now not just the top of the dog, and could be like third best car nearly in race pace. Max Verstappen is a second back on George Russell, and if he gets a sniff with that massive hole in his rear wing, he'll make a move down. You can bet on anything that Max will make a move on George Russell if he gets half a chance. He's finishing 6th. Yeah, he didn't do it. Half a second behind though. What a go on, Max. That's worrying for the Mercedes. And we've got the Mercedes, Verstappen, and then Lewis Hamilton. 8 seconds back on Max Verstappen is Lewis Hamilton. That's a bit of a kick for the Ferraris. And especially for Lewis Hamilton. He's not liked this car so far this weekend. And then we've got Pierre Gasly in 8th place, the final point. Isaac Hadjar in 9th. Franco Colapinto 10th. A bad start from him, and he's been beaten by his teammate again. No points for him. Gabi Bortoletto in 11th. Way back, 11 seconds off the Alpine. And then we've got Ocon and then Berman. Oh, yeah, Ocon holds on with Berman, so 12th. 13th over the line. And then Carlos Sainz in 14th, Liam Lawson 15th, Perez 16th. Alonso passes Perez on the end, on the line. Go on, Fernando. 16th. Don't count out that old dog. He's done it on the line. Has he done it on the line? It looks like he's just done it on the line. Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll, Alex Albon 19th. Obviously came in for pits for some sort of front wing. I don't know where he's damaged that. And last place for Valtteri Bottas. We didn't get the starters. Nick Hulkenberg, Arvid Lindblad, but a McLaren 1-2. They are back. Did you see that one coming? We probably should have after Japan, but wow, what a change around. They just need more of that this weekend. That's what Lando Norris has called for over the radio. Needs to keep this up. We'll see if anybody can catch up in the qualifying. It starts 9 o'clock UK time. I will be on at 8:50, about 10 minutes before qualifying, for the qualifying hour for the main race. So they can go away, change cars, and get this like the most out of it. I mean, the ones that be really scratching the head will be, and the most disappointed, I think, will be the Ferraris and the Mercedes. Ferraris bought a whole load of upgrades. They don't seem to have worked, and their Magic Macarena wing has been out Macarena'd by Red Bull. Max Verstappen with a brilliant move on Lewis Hamilton. The racing, well, it wasn't great. I've got to say, we didn't get the close wheel-to-wheel battles following through corners that we'd seen in Japan and other Grand Prix so far this weekend. Clearly, we've gone in the direction of potentially the purists. They didn't want to see cheap overtakes, but we kind of almost got zero overtakes. Was it an absolute bore fest, this Grand Prix sprint race? I've got to say no, because it was good to see Antonelli and George Russell keep that up with good battling between the pair of them, and with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. That was really nice to see with them guys. So yeah, we'll see how that plans out in the end. But there we have it, 19 laps done. Interesting. But that is where we are. A lot of work to do. So Antonelli potentially a pen for track limits. Antonelli had been given a penalty. He's been dropped down. P6 for the championship leader. That'd be disappointing. And even more disappointing for the whole team is the fact that the McLarens are back. That will be an embarrassment if McLaren beat Mercedes to the championship, when it's, we've all talked about it being an engine formula, and McLaren were nowhere near the pace of the Mercedes, but they've come here with big upgrades. They said they're going to have a whole new car here and Canada, and they've done it again. McLaren, we've seen them. They've got track record. It's, it shouldn't be a huge surprise. They've got it in the bank. They've shown they know how to upgrade a car, and they are the best team at upgrading a car in season. They've shown that for the last 2 seasons. Well, they've done it again this weekend. So far, it's a big gap now, and a massive couple of hours before qualifying. Can Ferrari figure out how to get the most of their upgrades? Can Mercedes bounce back? Do they know what their issues are? We'll soon find out, but it's not going to go well for him. And if you're a Papaya fan and a Lando Norris fan, you're thinking, geez, we were talking at one point, could this be the worst thing for him? Back-to-back world champion, and he's come in with the new regulations, and he's going to lose his stranglehold on the championship. Potentially not, as things stand. So we'll see how that one pans out. Long way to go yet, and we've got the all-important qualifying hour coming up. But there we have it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, watch me, and we'll be here for the watch along for the qualifying hour, up at 8:50 8:50 today, so 8:50 UK time. So I know it says 8:45, but it only lets me put it on for quarter to the hour. But it'll be 10 minutes before qualifying. I will be on live stream. You can watch along on that one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.